Well, you're getting me on natural today because we were evacuated due to the fires. In fact, we were the first people in Kelowna evacuated, as far as I know, last Thursday evening. And we're still not able to return to our home. So we're staying with lovely friends downtown Kelowna where it's deemed safe. And we're exploring a new lifestyle.
Yeah,
for sure.
very safe here from fires, but very smoky.
Yeah, very smoky. So this has been a wonderful experience to see that our home is at risk. And we were awakened late Thursday evening and told we had 15 minutes to evacuate. So luckily, Bill had made an evacuation plan. He went to the plan. We grabbed the few things that we could and we left. And we didn't know where we were going or what to do. And all of a sudden, our friend texted us and said, "Come stay here."
It was so surprising. I mean, the doorbell rang at 11:30, I think it was, waking me from a deep sleep. I think Connie was actually still awake, but we didn't know where we were going. Just put it in the car and get off the mountain.
Yeah.
And so we were driving around and we stopped and looked for, an evacuation center to go to. Couldn't find anything. And then out of the blue, we get this text at midnight from a friend who said, "Gee, if you need a place to stay," I'm thinking, what are they even doing up that time?
Yeah.
But because of the fires, they were up kind of watching, and it was just so generous of them to offer this place. Very sweet.
Yeah, and in the course of a few hours, we had 5 different friends who offered a place for us to stay. Now, to me, that's such a perfect example of life having our back. That if we just stay open and unattached, not having to have it my way, there are all kinds of possibilities that can arise that are really in our best interest and everyone's best interest. So that was the first learning for me.
Let me just mention something. I like what you say there, because we have mentioned in so many blogs before how stress and conflict that leads to these feelings of wanting to reach for food to kind of feel better, it always comes out of a situation where we're telling ourselves life should be different than it is.
Yes.
This shouldn't be happening. So isn't that great? We're in that situation where we're faced with, we would prefer this wasn't happening. But what a difference it makes when we don't go into that thought storm, really, of this shouldn't be happening, resisting what is. And in that resistance, our minds just kind of close down and we just don't have access to our best thinking.
Yeah, and we feel yucky. That's the main thing. We don't feel good. So one thing that's been really wonderful is exploring this new situation in life. What could it be holding for us and for others that's of great benefit? And so the journey continues because we can't get back to our house. We'll see where it goes from here. But I love the pioneer spirit that both Bill and I have. And that is the willingness to see what's in front of us and to step into what's next, what's new, what experience is being called for in this circumstance. And we're finding that day by day.
Yeah, it was kind of a real deepening in this understanding of the universe has your back, and how the universe, as it unfolds, if life is really living us, now in that unfolding, everything that occurs is a benefit. If I zoom out far enough, get the big picture on life, it's pretty obvious to me that the universe is constantly growing and expanding, and in a way that almost has this intentionality about it, that it is more and more beneficial. Everything that occurs is a benefit to the whole. And so in this situation, we could lose our house. we've got a lot invested in that house, a lot of memories, all of our tools, Connie's piano, all of our furnishings, all these things, it's like, whoa, personal me, could lose so much. So it's been a real opportunity to zoom out to that larger perspective of how everything is really a benefit. As life unfolds, everything that occurs is really a benefit. And when I see that, then when I'm able to have that perspective coming back into this personal life, seeing, what do I do now? I have such a more open attitude toward looking for the opportunities in what shows up in the midst of what it looks like, could be very great loss. But knowing that if this loss occurs, there's that old myth of the phoenix, out of the ashes will arise something greater and stronger and more beautiful than what existed before. And with that foundation, it's like Connie was saying, it's like, this is an adventure. It's like when we used to go backpacking in the backcountry up in the Rockies, you never knew where that next campground was. It was just a destination on the map. But that journey getting there and going over those passes and around those turns, where there's this whole new vista that would just take your breath away. And you couldn't be anything but just in awe of the beauty that life is, the beauty that nature is constantly creating, and that is so often out of view.
Yeah, true.
Until you put that pack on and you go over the summit.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's always been there. So life, this is something that we would definitely prefer to not have had occur, but it is occurring. So how is it really different from putting that pack on? Okay, there's a destination out there. We've never been there before, but if we just follow the next step, we don't know where we're going exactly, but we know the direction we're going in. And that's good. That's benefit. We're just having to follow that nudge for that next step. And everything that's occurring is just amazing.
Well, one question that has come up is, what are you doing for food? Because we eat whole food, plant-based, SOS-free, salt, oil, and sugar-free. So the morning of Friday, we went out to the farm to do our volunteer work. We were given lots of beautiful produce from our time there. So that was step one. And then we went to the health food store and we found a beautiful kale salad that was dressed with cashews, which
Cashew
is fine.
dressing, yeah.
Cashew dressing. And our farmer friend had given us a beautiful little watermelon. We got that cut and had each half of that. And then what else did you have?
Hummus.
Oh, yeah.
Oil-free hummus.
I bought an oil-free hummus, which was wonderful. And we had that with corn thins. So we had a gorgeous lunch. Bought some cabbage and rolled oats to use with our meals here. And from our home, I had taken the curry that I'd made with mung beans. So we're enjoying that. Cooked cabbage with this kale salad on top. I took some mushrooms that I'd cooked, so we have a little bit of mushroom each day. It's so simple and fun.
Yeah. Life is an adventure. And as long as I can keep that perspective, stay grounded in that understanding that life is a journey, that for us anyway, the purpose of life isn't to accumulate a lot of things that give us a lot of comfort. The purpose of life is to continue to grow and expand, be part of this natural unfolding of the universe. And when we stay in that flow, boy, whatever comes up can be challenging, but it's never devastating.
Yeah, and the main thing I want to emphasize is something Bill touched on. When we're in situations that our thinking can define as difficult, not what we want, not how we want life to look, by dwelling on those thoughts, we create a lot of feeling that brings our mood down, down, down. And if we just relax, let go, see what, as a curious little kid, is coming next that I can respond to, then we don't have the desire to use food as a, what would you call it, remedy, way to calm the waters. The waters are already calm and exciting, actually. So be aware, get curious about what drives you to eat when you're not hungry. What is the thinking process that starts here that creates feelings that makes you want to reach for food? And just hold it loosely, do nothing with it. But the more you see it, the more those habit patterns begin to unravel.
Very good.
Is that enough for today?
And I think that's enough for today.
We are wishing you much love and all the very best.
See you next week.